What's good, everybody? It's your boy Marcus Summers, Major Linux, youtube.com/Major Linux, and you tuned in once again for a major unboxing, and this one is special for so many reasons. We've been waiting for so long, well, maybe just a little over a week, longer than we anticipated, but it is finally here. It is now in studio, in home, in my hands, now on this table, the M1 Pro, MacBook Pro. Of course, this MacBook was announced last week. What was it? October 16th? I think that's how math works. I don't remember. It was announced just last week or last Monday. Today's Wednesday, by the way. They announced the M1s, the M1 Pro. They announced the M1 Max. Of course, everybody was expecting the M1X chip to be announced. So Apple said, okay, you're expecting one, we'll give you a two. So of course, this is the lesser one of the two that was announced last week. This is a 14-inch model MacBook Pro. Did not necessarily need the bigger one. I didn't need all the Mac specs because, again, I am not that person who's doing super duper amazing powerful workloads. I just look, just give me the bare minimum, and we'll see where we go from there. We'll see what this does. Already was impressed with the performance of the M1 in my Mac Mini. It's the standard M1 with 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage. This right here, again, is the M1 Pro MacBook Pro with 16 gigabytes of storage, 512 gigabytes of storage. This is actually the Mac with the most amount of storage I've ever had. My iPhone, my iPad Pro, and my previous MacBook Pro, along with my Mac Mini, all have 256 gigabytes of storage. This one has 512, so I can now fit not everything, but more than I could before. So this is the configuration I have here. This is the starting model here that starts retails for $1,999, which, yeah, I didn't realize that's how much it costs until after the fact. But I am trading in my 2019 13-inch MacBook Pro, Core i5. So that kind of knocked off some of the price. So it's okay. It knocked off something, but yeah, it could be better. The pricing could be better, but again, with the performance that we're seeing coming out of it from a lot of other tech reviewers, as they're talking about this Mac, again, we're expecting some big things here. So I hope that it lives up to the hype. But until then, let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed. Of course, as you can probably see, it's very reflective. This box does still have the plastic cellophane or plastic wrapping around it. I know that the new iPhones that came out did not have the plastic wrapping around it. Mine apparently does. So yeah, but it's still that easy, no tool. Opening here, normally with a lot of other tech I buy, it's still a, hey, I gotta find a knife somewhere, but luckily with these, I don't. Let's toss that off to the side here, make sure it doesn't seem like there's anything else that's keeping this box on, so I'm gonna, yeah, it seems like it's ready to go. So I'll go ahead and slide this off. And there we go, look at that, look at there. Of course, this is the space gray. I've got to have the darker color. I cannot do that light silvery. Got to have that space gray. So, of course, this is the model I got. We'll pull this out. We'll take a look at that in just a second. Yeah, it's definitely heavier than my 13-inch. Of course, what else is in the box? We've got, see the charging cable. I'm gonna rip it out. Just rip this all out. So of course, if you don't know, they bought back MagSafe for the MacBook, which of course, why wouldn't they? I mean, it's been on brand, so of course, yeah, there you go. You got your MagSafe. This is MagSafe 3 now. So yeah, MagSafe 3 to USB Type-C for your power. Of course, you got your booklet, all your documents, some stickers in here too, and I heard some things about the stickers. Oh, there they are. They're black now. black stickers. That's right. So you got your documentation, you got your stickers, and of course you got your charging brick, USB Type-C charging brick. Let's see, this is rated at, because I forgot, just rip all this to shreds here. Tells me down at the bottom, and I'm not going to try to show it to you because it's very faint. At least I thought it did. Oh, there it is. 67 watt power supply. So this is what's coming, I think, with the, I want to say it's all the M1 Pros. I forget, it comes with, like, I can't remember if it's all the M1 Pros or all the 14 inches. But I think, I think it's actually all the M1 Pros. I think all the M1 Pro MacBooks get the 67 watt. The M1 Maxes get the, I think it's the 97 watt or something like that. The 90 something watt one. One thing I noticed about this one is this Apple logo. It's kind of like it has like a rough finish to it. That's kind of a new thing. But hey, we're not here to talk about power bricks. Of course, that's it in the box. It's empty. There's nothing else in there. So we're gonna toss that off to the side. So I'm gonna move all this rest of the stuff, all the superfluous stuff off to the side. Might keep my charging cable here just in case. Of course, so now here we are back at the MacBook Pro. So let's go ahead and open this up. Oh, they were right. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Look at that. We're gonna stop it. We're gonna start at the bottom. Look at that. Look at that at the bottom there. Trying to get the focus, but I don't know if it's gonna focus. Etched in MacBook Pro at the bottom. Now again, like I said, this thing is heavier than my 13 inch. Of course, you got kind of squared off feet there. Not rounded like my 13 inch. We'll bring that over in a second. Of course, hey, here we go. MacBook Pro. Take a look on the sides here. Of course, you can see one. It is a very much boxier design than previous years. It still does kind of round off a bit, but not as much. At least the bottom rounds off. The top actually doesn't, and I think that's what it was. That's what was getting to me. The screen, like where the screen is. I'm trying to see if we can get it to focus there. It's kind of hard to do. I'm gonna bring that up. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see the screen, like the screen right here. If you want to focus, no. Whoa. Maybe, I don't know. All right, cool. Camera, do your thing. Come on. So as you can see here, like at the top of the screen here, like it's squared off here as opposed to being rounded. So it's not like it's like rounds at the point. It squares off like at the top of the screen. So it seems like the screen seems a little bit boxier than the older Macs. But of course you can see the side IO here where you got the return of the HDMI port and the SD card. And of course you flip it on the other side, and hey, MagSafe is back. 2 more USB Type-Cs. There's one on the other side I forgot to point out, and a headphone jack. So these were always here. Now we do have a dedicated charging port as opposed to occupying one of the USB Type-C ports. Now, of course, if you're coming over from an Intel Mac, I want to say all the MacBook Pros that were Intel based had it. I think they had no. There was a MacBook Pro, there was a 13-inch MacBook Pro that was Intel based that only had 2 USB Type-C ports. Mine has 4. So with this one now having 3, I still have the amount of USB Type-C ports I would have normally have had if I had it plugged in. So I didn't really lose a port. I don't necessarily think I gained a port. But yeah, so 3 dedicated USB Type-C ports. You can still charge a MacBook Pro using USB Type-C. So again, it's not like I have to buy another MagSafe charger to plug in there. See, look at it, snaps in, and of course my tripped over cable just pops out. I don't have to take my MagSafe charger with me. I can use my existing USB Type-C cables that I have with my MacBook. That I have my current Intel MacBook. But it's good to see that, hey, if I were to buy more MagSafe chargers, I then get that if I want to use more than 2 USB Type-C ports. So let's see, let's go ahead and open this up. I'm pretty sure it will power up. There it goes. So of course, now we can take a look at this keyboard here. This keyboard is actually based off of the Magic Keyboard that launched with the iMac, the M1 iMacs. Of course, it's all black. It's like in the old Intel MacBooks. I think the MacBook Pros, they did all have kind of. There we go. I just locked that up. So yeah, all right. I'll just bring it over. So yeah, this is my old Intel iMac, MacBook Pro. As you can see here, like with the touch bar, you had like everything. It was like just the keys, kind of jutting out of the aluminum unibody. Here, like just the whole keyboard. Like this whole thing is just black now. Keys are based off of, again, the M1's Magic Keyboard. Of course, dedicated function row keys with the physical escape key, of course, with the 14 and 16 inch MacBook Pros, the last Intel MacBook Pros that came out, they gave you the physical escape key, but still a touch bar. Now it's just full physical buttons here, and it also comes with a little touch button here, my Touch ID. One thing I do like, they went back to this layout of keyboard again with the 14 and 16 inch MacBook Pros. But obviously I skipped it because I still had a fairly decent 13 inch here. One thing I'm glad to see back, outside of getting rid of the touch bar, is the arrow keys are the left and right are no longer as tall as the up and down stacked on top of each other. So now I can easily find where this is and know what buttons I'm trying to push. So let's go ahead, let's put them side by side here. So actually, hold on, before we do that, because I forgot there's a screen here. So yeah, let's take a look at the screen here. Of course, this is the 14 inch. It's 14 point something. I can't remember what it is. Let's see, I have some notes. Yeah, so it's a 14 inch screen. I know it's like a little bit over 14 inches. It's a ProMotion XDR display. I'm gonna try to set it to where it doesn't lean back on me, so I can go and hold this iPad with my notes. ProMotion XDR, which has many LEDs that are similar to the iPad Pro, or the M1 iPad Pro, which is what I'm holding here. So essentially, it's still an LCD display, but it gives the HDR.
English is the main language. Press the return key.
Okay, but it lights up the back of the screen, similar, like it uses the many LEDs on the back of the screen to kind of light up individual zones. They kind of give in HD, they give you that HDR experience, like give you the deeper blacks, the brighter brights, but still an LCD panel. Goes from 24 to 120 hertz refresh rate. So when you're scrolling, it'll give you it'll look very, very fast, very, very quick. It'll match up to 120 hertz. But when you're not using it, it'll clock down to 24 hertz to kind of conserve on your battery. Of course, as you can see here, because this is super bright, it cannot hide it. There it is, right there, ladies and gentlemen. It's the notch. But of course, just like with the iPhone, in order to get, again, what you can clearly observe here are the thinner bezels on the screen here. They kind of had to cut out a bit of the screen to put the camera still. There are people who would have just, hey, like, you could have just kept the screen the way it was, that we wouldn't have a notch, it wouldn't take away the screen. We're really tired of the notch, really tired of you doubling down on the notch, but here we are. Apple said, you're okay, you can deal with the notch, it's fine. But of course, like, the one thing that people were hoping is the fact that if you're going to have a notch, like, let there be more sensors in here. Why does the notch have to be so big if it's just a webcam? I don't know, not a designer. And again, I think it was I can't remember. Snazzy Q on Twitter, he had pointed out that, hey, some apps are not actually optimized to use to take care of this notch. So there are things that actually kind of get stuck behind there. People were wondering, what does that notch do? If I were to move a mouse up there, what would it do? Some apps, system apps included, will have the mouse actually go around it. But there are some apps that aren't optimized to recognize that there's a notch there, and the mouse will actually go through it, and then actually items appear in the taskbar will get hidden behind that notch, which, yeah, like, we were all good and like okay with this notch up until that was pointed out. Again, everybody can't catch everything, so hopefully some app developers will kind of readjust their apps to work with the notch. Apple maybe can do some things system level to deal with the notch a little bit better than they did. or I don't know. It gets weird. I don't foresee me having any issues with this notch, but we'll get there when we get there, I guess. So let's see here. I think that's it though. But yeah, let's see. Let's do a little size comparison. I'm gonna close this here. I'm gonna close my 13-inch MacBook here, and of course for a size comparison, it's actually not that much bigger. Now I imagine too, like the 14-inch MacBook Pros of old would have been slightly bigger than my 13-inch, mainly because of the fact that the bezels would have been bigger and how the screen was how the screen was attached to the rest of the laptop. But again, when you get rid of bezels, you can actually make the device smaller, which is the reason why you look at a like the iPhone 10 was about as big as an iPhone 6, but the screen was much bigger than that of an iPhone 6. Where the fact that, you know, I think the iPhone 12 Pro Max, iPhone 13 Pro Max are maybe about as big as an iPhone 7 Pro or a 7 Max, but the screens are so much bigger than that. So yeah, it's amazing what happens when you get rid of bezels, when you get rid of chins. Of course, on the side here, the 14 is ever so much thicker than 13. And again, like even though this is being the 13, the 14s are probably about the same thickness. The 14-inch Intels, and again 13-inch I think M1 MacBook Pro is about the same size as my 13-inch Intel. So yeah, these new M1 Pro, M1 Max MacBook Pros, just a little bit thicker. And yeah, too, like this is a lot heavier. I do not know why this is heavier, for this to not have as much, or to technically not have as much. I don't know what makes it heavier. I'm not sure if it's the battery in it. But again, I hope so. I hope there's a reason why. Like, I mean, I don't know. I hope there's a reason why it is heavier. It does feel sturdier. It does feel heftier than what I'm used to in the wild. But yeah, I cannot wait to actually start field testing this. Really excited. But yeah, so there's going to be some more testing and stuff that I am going to do in the next few days. I know I'm a little bit behind on getting this out because of the fact that I had a shipping issue. But yeah, some more testing and stuff will go down. I'm actually planning on editing this video on this machine to see how well it performs. Let's see here. But yeah, on top of that, maybe doing some more tests to kind of compare it with my M1 Mac, and also with my actual gaming rig, which is what I do a lot of heavy lifting on. And again, I'm not expecting to see M1 Max performance. I wouldn't actually be surprised, like with this being the base M1 Pro, with this being the base MacBook Pro that they put out, or that they announced, that it may not perform as good as everybody else's. And like that becomes the issue when you release multiple SKUs. A lot of the review units will be the best one, and not the base one. So yeah, really interested to see how this performs compared to my Intel Mac, my M1 Mac, and an actual gaming PC. I don't anticipate it beating the gaming PC by any stretch of imagination, but I imagine, hey, if it's good enough to edit a YouTube video, or to kind of put some stuff on a Twitch stream, or do some coding and stuff like that, this should be good enough for to replace this right here, because I was doing none of that on this MacBook. So yeah, that's it for this unboxing. Stay tuned. I'm gonna have more content for you. Let's go. Let's yeah, there we go. Gotta be on brand, right? Gotta make sure the Apple logo is showing right. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Of course, yeah, there's gonna be more content on the channel, youtube.com/MajorLinux. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like, comment, do all the stuff that YouTubers ask you to do. I'm gonna ask it too, I guess, because I guess it helps. But until next time, all I've got left to say to you wonderful people is I love you, and peace Oh, wait, they're right there.
Oh, hey, thanks you for watching the video. Hope you really enjoyed it. Of course, really help me out if you like, comment, and subscribe, and click the little bell icon so that you can get notified of many more videos that appear on this channel. Thank you. Peace out.